In the tradition of Malcolm X, peace be unto you. We are facing extreme climate change effects in the United States, and that, of course, is also the case for the entire world. I heard a report this morning that for the first time in recorded history, it has rained on Greenland at its highest altitude of about 2.2 miles because temperature has increased above freezing. Now, when it rains on ice, you know, over time, erosion occurs and slush results. And if that occurs at lower elevations, it will accelerate the melting of the glaciers on Greenland. And that, in turn, will cause a slowdown in the Gulf Stream. And then your guess is as good as mine how weather patterns will be disrupted, as they are disrupted by the disruption of the polar vortex and the jet stream, which you know is a principal cause of the heat domes that we've been experiencing the last several years. But I want to focus on the drought that we're having right here in California and indeed the whole western United States. Now, this was all projected to occur. If you've been keeping up with the intergovernmental panel on climate change, you know that the average global temperature has been increasing, and some top scientists have already calculated that, you know, we're very close to the 1.5 critical point or critical temperature, which, if reached, signifies that there's nothing that can be done, even on a micro level, even at the local level, to mitigate the degradation of the ocean, degradation of rivers, lakes, and the increase in temperatures worldwide that we're going to experience. Now, we're here. Now, if you look at the map that I have up, you can see the several states that are right now most affected by this mega drought, which, by the way, geologists and archaeologists have calculated occurs about every 1,200 years in California or in the western part of the United States. But you've got to combine that with the tons of CO2 and methane that we have put into the atmosphere, which is causing the greenhouse effect. And so whatever the mega drought was 1,200 years ago, it will be multiple times greater than it has ever been in the western United States. Now, you see the map and you see the Colorado River originating in Colorado and running all the way through Baja California, which is in Mexico. But that Colorado River provides water for over 40 million people. Now, not just people, but animals, other animals. And plants or vegetation, much of which we depend upon for food. And so, as an offside note, we can expect food prices to increase almost immediately. And that's not good news. That's just simply not good news, because it means a further erosion of the dollar. as costs for goods and services go up, the dollar decreases in value. So, looking at the map, you can see from Oregon to Southern California, there are water shortages on the horizon. And it has been announced by the federal government just this week that there will be water cuts to all of those states beginning in 2022. The federal government will reduce the amount of water flowing into those states and the many cities that depend upon the water. And again, scientists, quoting from the headline you see, say a combination of natural weather patterns and human-driven climate change is fueling the historic drought and dwindling water levels. So we're talking about science now. We're talking about the methods used in science, like mathematics, to measure changing conditions over time. And we're talking about the people who have spent 10, 20, 30, 40 years specializing in one or two areas to better understand the context of our lives, the total context of our lives, not just your urban lifestyle. The situation is extremely serious. And another problem with the mega drought is that it could last decades under natural circumstances. But with what the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is saying, it could last thousands of years. In other words, whatever you thought your life, our life, was all about, that socially constructed life of yours, it's over. And it can't be plainer than it is when you look outside and see the smoke from the forest fires burning in California. And the word adaptation comes to mind. How are you going to fit into the new natural order? I didn't say the new social order, the new natural order. Now, I went to Nevada recently because I wanted to see Lake Mead and I wanted to see the Hoover Dam. And so my observation is in alignment with what the scientists are saying. I've been going back and forth to Lake Mead for many years just to keep track of the water level. And you can see me pointing. And you can see that white band right above the water surface. And you can see that that is a measure of the decline in the water in Lake Mead. Now, this is just one picture, of course, right there at Hoover Dam. But that water feeds Hoover Dam, which causes the generators to work properly so that electricity can be supplied to many cities. And that electricity is going to be reduced because eventually the Hoover Dam will have to be cut off, stopped, so that damage is not done to the generators. Now we have a similar problem in Oroville, California. The power plant at Oroville Dam has been shut down for the first time in history. It was built sometime back in the 1960s, and it was shut down due to a lack of water. And the Oroville Dam supplies electricity to something like 80,000 people in that area of Butte County. So they're going to have to find other energy sources so that people can maintain the quality of their life or lives. Now, let's look at Lake Oroville, what it was in 2018. Here's a picture. I've been there many times because I go up there regularly. This is a full lake, 2018. Now, let's fast forward April 2021, this year, just a few months ago. And you can see, again, the white band from the surface of the lake to the tree line. That is a measure of the loss of water in Lake Oroville. And the third picture that I'm going to show you is from July 2021, last month. And you can see Lake Oroville is a creek now. It's a creek. There is virtually no water left, and certainly not enough to turn the generators in the Oroville Dam. If this continues, if this drought continues, and it is going to continue, we are going to be facing food shortages, as I said, increased food prices, and that's going to affect the whole nation because California is the largest grower of many fruits and vegetables, not only used in the United States, but exported to other nations like almonds. And of course, the farmers in the valley, you can see on the map again here that I have up, that California, the Valley of California, is in exceptionally intense drought. And farmers are increasingly needing to go into our aquifer, our underground water storehouse, which has been built up over hundreds of thousands of years, and tap into that. And as they do that, then they cause what is termed subsidence, that is, the ground level sinks because you have open cavities and the weight of the surface ground just sinks. It's called gravity. And that then is going to cause many other problems like huge sinkholes that may just happen overnight, swallowing up whole houses, whole neighborhoods, destroying infrastructure, killing people as they sleep at night. So what are you going to do? You've got to prepare. And I'm going to keep this short. I'm not going to get into the details of what you can start doing to prepare, but you certainly want to conserve water. You want to use less, cut it in half, take short showers, etc., etc. And you want to also prepare for earthquakes, because as the ground subsides, as the ground level sinks, it will cause friction that can then affect fault lines, earthquake fault lines that crisscross the whole state of California, like the Hayward Fault. And so we can expect major earthquakes. The times are becoming increasingly difficult, and my concern is that in our community, there is among young people a very serious lack of scientific knowledge. And so I'm not certain that many people even understand the language that is being used to communicate the science of climate change. And I'm also concerned that we're so focused on the socially constructed bubbles that we participate in, that we think are real, that we're going to be caught off guard and find ourselves on nature's cut list. And that means that we're in line with other animals to become extinct in what is called the sixth extinction. I am Dr. Stephen Nur Ahmed. Peace be unto you.